Hey guys, it's Wanted again. This is going to be my official review of the game Extermination. Came out in 2001 for the PS2, and it took us quite a ride on stream. I'm going to be looking at gameplay, graphics, story, entertainment, replay value, and audio. My plan is to take all of these and combine them together and give you guys a value of what I think the game is actually worth. Then and probably even now. So the first thing I had to do was look at the value of the game right now to see what it actually was. And I was quite surprised to see that this game cost $39.99 originally, and it was on sale for $17.47, which still is quite a lot. And by the end of this review, you'll see why. Something else I noticed was that on this particular site, there was one reviewer giving this game 3 stars, which is kind of in line with what we're going to be looking at. So first things first, the controls of this game were really weird, and interestingly enough, you couldn't change the camera or do anything with it at all. And when it came to the map, it was very convoluted because they wanted you to figure out this maze that they built for you, which normally would be okay, but along with the controls and getting used to them, it was a little bit hard to figure out where you wanted to go on the map at a certain time. So I was pretty lost for a lot of episode 7 of this playthrough. Enemies in this game were really weird. Right here I just get surprised out of the blue by a monster, and I had to try and figure out how I was going to defeat him to get along with the story. But I did see that they introduced a new mechanic into the game that allows you to kill enemies a little bit longer, and right here you see that they provide you with a way to kill enemies that they didn't do before. So I had to figure it out, and what you're seeing right now is me trying to maneuver through the inventory to heal myself and also change my weapons, which I feel like they could have allowed you to do with the D-pad for a quicker use of your auxiliary weapons such as the shotgun, flamethrower, and the grenade launcher. I had a hard time getting in between these guns during fights, which you have to pause, get the gun that you want to use it, and then switch it back when you run out of bullets. I feel like they could have done a better job with that. Bosses. This is the first boss that we faced, and it was rough. There was no introduction to the moves, it just came out and attacked you, and that was it. But luckily enough, this one provided the same mechanic to defeat the boss. Since it was a big boss, it took a couple tries to actually get this thing down. And I feel like it wasn't too hard for the first main boss of the game, but it was a pretty interesting fight. It took us quite a while to beat this, about an hour or so, which is not too bad, but we got the job done. As you'll see through this, every boss that we beat gave us a bit of a rush because it took so long to get them beat. Okay, we're gonna always start like that. This is the second boss. This is what Roger becomes, spoiler alert. And he has the same glowing orbs on his body, but it's hard to face tank him, and you probably shouldn't. You gotta run, then turn around your whole body, then aim, because of, again, the mechanics of the game doesn't allow you to turn the camera to see where he is behind you, so you have to kind of get lucky with it and figure out what's going on. So as well, not being able to see, you can just jump off the stage at any time. But eventually we got things done, and we figured out that we had to use our missiles to attack him and then take him out. But it wasn't that easy because since you can't see where he is, it's hard to actually aim the missiles and take him out. So there were a couple of times where I would turn around to shoot him, and because of the quick aim, I would completely miss. Which was funny at the time, but not when you've been doing this boss over and over again. Eventually we figured it out, and we got to a point where we could take him out. And like all the other bosses, we aimed for the orbs growing on his body, and that allowed us to do what we needed to do and defeat Roger. Got it. So a common theme here you'll see, we need to capture the bosses in a stagger lock.
Yes.
And there's the euphoria you get from beating the boss after waiting for so long to do so. Boss 3 was another headache in itself. He's in the water and we have to look for him to figure out where he is. He's throwing projectiles at us that we can dodge, but it took me a while to figure out how to dodge, because in this game you can't dodge until the enemies are right next to you. So right now I'm trying to get into the turret to shoot him, but I'm having a hard time because of the controls. And while you're fighting him, he has his minions all over the place attacking you at the same time, and he's still throwing projectiles at you. Eventually we figured out a way to beat him, so now I'm going to try and dodge those projectiles that come in and still dodge these little things. It's just a lot going on the screen at one time. When he shows up, he gets what he needs to get, and we beat him, and we think that we're in the clear, but we're not. There's a second phase to this boss where he comes on the ship and crawls around to beat you. In this clip here, I am actually going to be showing you how I beat him, because it did take a while to do. There's a pulley here that we go across. First wave on the way. Then boom. We figured that we can potentially stagger lock him, so this is not a good area for us to be in at all, actually. I'm gonna try and dodge those projectiles. Okay, they missed. So now I'm gonna get back on the turret and attack him. And I'm gonna get the stagger going, and that's GG's for him right there. And just one boss down, and again I feel the euphoria of beating the boss. I was thinking here that I'll be able to, you know, go heal up, save and whatnot, but no way. Turns out there's a third phase to this boss, which is the final boss, and he was quite impossible. I ended up not beating him at all, and actually going to YouTube to look at what the end of the game was supposed to be, because we agreed that we beat the boss basically. So here I am destroying the projectiles that come in at my son, and I still have to fight these things off at the same time. So continue to fight them off and still try to dodge at the same time. So I decided maybe try and attack him head on, but there was no real way to stagger him. Come to find out in the video, we need a secret weapon that we had to find throughout the game in order to beat him. I will say though that the game did provide us with a few good moments where we were able to create some memes and truly enjoy what the story had to offer.
What the hell happened here? Answer me! They didn't tell you anything? What the hell was that thing? What's going on in this facility?
Didn't they tell you anything?
Stop telling me that, just tell me! Who is this? This is not Dennis. This is not the guy we came to love throughout the whole entire game. This is not Dennis. Nope, not Dennis. I was actually playing the European version of the game. And as you saw, this game did allow us to enjoy the story a bit. We had some memes come up, not knowing what exactly we're doing in this facility. So it kept us on our toes a little bit for the most part. For gameplay, I'm going to give this game a 1. The camera controls are non-existent, and figuring out the map and the buttons takes some time getting used to. Even after an hour or two into the game, I still wasn't used to the controls, and that almost never happens. The enemy spam does not increase difficulty. I can see that this has been a trend that was started in the PS2 days, because you can just run past the enemies and go straight towards the boss if you want to. And the boss fights, to speak of, they have a lot going on the screen at one time, and that's a little bit too much for what we can do with the controls and the mechanics. And with the cameras, it's hard to see what the boss is doing or which attack is coming up. So overall, this game's gonna get a 1 in gameplay. For graphics, I'm gonna give it a 2. It's meant to be dark, so I'm not gonna be too hard on it. And since it was a PS2 game, I wasn't looking for much in terms of graphic. I couldn't really expect much. Now, where this game really shines is the story. It's one of the driving forces of the game. It does not feel forced or fluffed, but at times the voice acting is a little bit odd, so it's gonna get a solid 4. You didn't see that coming? Didn't they tell you anything? And since the story builds the game, it does get to be a little bit entertaining once you take away the long searches for items, figuring out the bosses, and really trying to see where you are on the map. So entertainment gets a 2.5. Replay value gets a half. I would never play this game again. I don't see why anybody would. New Game Plus is never going to see me. For audio, I'm going to give this game a 2.5 just because it's alright for what it's worth. There are times where the music gets you pumped, and there's time when there's only the sounds of your boots and the monsters around you. For its time, this game gets some leeway, but if I played this game growing up, I don't think I'd have beaten it because it was so complex to do without a walkthrough. What does this say for the value? Well, I'll tell you. This game was normally worth $44, and there's no way I'll pay for that now or then. What I would actually do is I would actually pay the price of $3.99, which I think is probably a cent more than it actually is worth. This has been Extermination Game Review. If you like what you see, please subscribe, leave a like, drop a comment. Let me know if you enjoyed it or not. Thank you.